What's going on? In this video, I'll be reviewing KinoBody's video on 10 steps to increase testosterone levels naturally. By the way, if you don't know who I am, my name is Alex and I help men boost testosterone levels naturally. I've helped men accomplish over 1,000 nanograms per deciliter, and I've helped hundreds of men improve their hormones, muscle composition, all of those things like that. And in this video, I want to review what KinoBody says about testosterone optimization. I'll be telling you if he's right, what I think. I'll be going over studies and things like that. So let's get into it.
Begin. So the first thing you must do to unlock higher testosterone is get your sleep dialed. If you want to sleep more, it can be hard. Okay, you can't just tell yourself fall asleep. Okay, so this is a tough one.
Yeah, so I definitely agree. Sleep is super important for testosterone levels, and studies men who sleep 8 hours per night have 200% more testosterone levels than men who sleep 4 hours per night. In other studies, it has been shown that men who sleep an hour extra for every hour of sleep that they get, they have 15% more testosterone. One thing he mentioned is, and I agree as well, it's easier said than done. Some guys just can't fall asleep. They can't fall asleep. They constantly waking up at night. And the problem with that is, first of all, sitting in darkness and coldness is a stressor to the body. There's been studies on, for every half an hour you stay up during the night, cortisol levels increase by 15%. This is the same reason why we sleep at night, because deep sleep is a protection against darkness and coldness. Same reason why animals hibernate during the winter. Same reason why people age the most during the winter, because it's cold and dark. So if you're not getting that sleep, that deep sleep, because the deep sleep is the key part, you're going to age quicker, stress hormones are going to be higher, so on and so forth. Another key thing when it comes to sleep is, if you're waking up at night, you're messing with your sleep cycles, because sleep is divided into 90-minute cycles, and within each cycle there's different types of sleep. The main one is the REM sleep, which is this deep part, and the longer you sleep without interruption, for every 90 minutes the REM cycles become longer and deeper. So if you go for 90 minutes and you wake up, you're restarting that process. So for most optimal testosterone levels, you want to sleep 7.5, 9 hours uninterrupted, and most guys just can't accomplish that. So yeah, let's continue.
But it's important that you work and improve your ability to sleep over time. Now, I've had periods when I struggle with sleep. When your sleep is bad or suboptimal, it's just a cascading effect of negatives. So a few things to help improve sleep. First one, when you wake up, go outside, get direct sunlight on your eyes for 20 minutes. This helps reset your circadian rhythm so that in 16, 17 hours, you are very sleepy. If you're not getting that natural sunlight on your eyes, it's harder for your body to know when to fall asleep. Now, point 2 for sleep is, I recommend having a moderate amount of caffeine and the...
Yeah, like I definitely agree. You want to get sunlight on your skin and get that sunlight first thing in the morning. Even if it's cloudy outside, being outside, you're still getting that sun rays from the clouds. So sunlight is extremely important when it comes to that. Now he goes into caffeine.
Same intake daily. So if you drink too much caffeine, it can actually be harder to fall asleep. Caffeine has amazing benefits, performance, cognition, but if you drink too much caffeine, it can interrupt with sleep. And really, it's the variance in caffeine. So if one day you have 2 cups, one day you have 3 cups, it's harder to sleep when you increase caffeine intake. So I recommend having a moderate amount of caffeine every day and have it consistent. So that's about 2 to 3 cups of coffee, or 200 to 300 milligrams of caffeine every day. If you're going above 400 milligrams, that's when your sleep is impaired. As well, you need to learn how to relax at night.
Yes, so when it comes to caffeine, I've made videos about caffeine, and I personally drink caffeine right before I go to sleep, because when you fundamentally understand that caffeine, all it does, it increases glucose consumption, it increases the metabolism. So having caffeine will give you the ability to relax, and that's the next point he's getting into. The reason why people get insomnia and stressed out and can't sleep because of caffeine is because they probably have compromised liver function. He does a lot of intermittent fasting and caloric deficits. So if he's constantly doing that, he has not a lot of liver glycogen store. So if he has caffeine later in the day, that's going to cause a lot of adrenaline, cortisol, and things like that, which keep you up and stimulated. If you're fueling your body properly, caffeine will just increase the consumption of those nutrients, which will allow for relaxation. It's the same reason why when you see dead people, they have stiffness, they're extremely stiff because it takes energy to relax. So when you have the combination of caffeine and proper nutrition, your body can relax, your mind can relax, so on and so forth. So another thing he mentioned is the variance between the caffeine, definitely, but that comes into play more so if you are under eating, compromised liver function, things like that.
So you can do something called box breathing. 4 seconds in through the nose, hold for 4 seconds, 4 seconds out through the mouth, hold for 4 seconds, and then back in 4 seconds. Do 10 of those breaths. It helps trigger your parasympathetic nervous system. It helps make you more sleepy. You can also wear a pair of blue light blocking.
So he mentions breathing. I somewhat agree with it, but it's a tactic to accomplish something that can be accomplished if you fundamentally know what you're doing when it comes to your nutrition. And I'll get into that later in the video because he goes over meditation and it's the same concept, so I'll go deeper into that.
Glasses at night, if you're on your phone, computer a lot, that actually can disrupt your natural melatonin production. So invest in blue light glasses. And of course, you want to sleep with the room cold.
Yeah, like when it comes to the blue light blocking glasses, it definitely helps. It's good to protect your eyes, but you want to get to a state where you don't have to have all these weird tactics and you have to be like imprisoned by like this excessive routine just to go to sleep. When I was more compromised, like all of these things would help, but when you fundamentally start with the foundation, do you remember when you were a kid or younger, you can be on your phone all the way till you go to sleep and your body is healthy and you can just fall asleep normally. But yeah, let's continue.
And you want your room to be dark. If there's light coming in while you're still sleeping, your sleep will be impaired. Your REM sleep will be impaired. So either get a full blackout setup or you can wear a sleep mask, but you want to get that sleep dialed. A good sign that you're sleeping well is you wake up and you feel recovered. You don't even need a cup of coffee. You just feel energized, okay? So work on getting your sleep dialed. Give your body some time. Don't put pressure on yourself to fall asleep. Just start to naturally relax and do these steps and your body will start to fall asleep better. And if you need to journal out stuff stressing you out, journaling can be a step to get things off your mind and be able to fall asleep better. And best of all, if you improve sleep, your ability to gain muscle and lose fat.
Yeah, so he mentions avoiding lights in your room, for sure. Having an LED light can be stimulating within the room, so keeping it dark. Also, he mentioned coldness, which helps for sure as well. I think if you're hypothyroid and you have low testosterone, being excessively cold can be problematic. Hence why wearing gloves, socks to keep the extremities warm, also a hat, can be quite good for some people, especially if you're more on the hypometabolic state. And yeah,
that is enhanced. You increase testosterone, recovery. Sleep is very foundational. Now the second step, this one might sound a little crazy to you, but I recommend meditating for 20 minutes every single morning. Now why? Most people are hyper stressed. They have high levels of cortisol. The world we live in, for some reason, just makes people very, very stressed with phones and technology and instant notifications and all these different things. People are highly stressed. Now, when your cortisol levels are higher and your stress levels are higher, it's harder for your body to produce testosterone, okay? So one of the things you can do to actually help manage and increase your stress tolerance is to meditate. And when I say meditate, basically what you're doing is you're putting your phone away. You can put on a timer, 15 or 20 minutes. You sit still. All you do is you focus on your breathing. You want to breathe in 3-4 seconds through the nose. You can breathe out 3-4 seconds through the nose. You don't even need to pause, just keep a consistent breath. It's gonna build more energy in your body. You're gonna become more present. It also helps with dopamine production, helps increase stress tolerance, lower cortisol, and you're gonna put your body into a much better position to increase testosterone. Now, I always see common denominators when I meet someone that has low testosterone, okay? Usually they're not sleeping well and they're hyper stressed. They haven't learned how to handle stress. If you look at most billionaires, most of them meditate twice a day, okay? When I am my most successful and my best dealing with people, it's when I'm meditating daily. So I recommend doing at least 15 to 20 minutes every day. Focus on your breath. And when you meditate daily, it helps train you to put your mind in the present moment. The more present you are, the more capable you are. When you're thinking about what you got to do later, or what you got to do, or how the past is going on, when your mind is split between past and future, you're not as capable. You want to plan for the future, you want to learn from the past, but you have to be able to keep your mind focused and honed in on the present moments. They say right now that humans' attention span are 5 seconds. That's why if you do a little Instagram, TikTok video short, you have less than 5 seconds to capture someone's attention, okay? Goldfish have 6 seconds. Most humans have 5 seconds, okay? You must train yourself to focus. I cannot stress it enough. Now that brings me to the third point, okay? Now this one,
So he mentioned the main thing is meditation and breathing. And I often talk about this in the brotherhood community when I'm doing the collaboration calls. A lot of the guys talk about meditation and breathing exercises and things like that. And when you look fundamentally to cell respiration, the metabolism, the metabolic rate, when your cells are producing energy how they're supposed to, there could be beta oxidation, there's cell respiration, there's the lactic acid pathway, but cell respiration is through protective hormones, thyroid and things like that. And the byproduct is CO2, carbon dioxide. And there's something called the Haldane and Burr effect. This is where to get more oxygen into the body, there has to be an exchange. So oxygen, you breathe out CO2. So you exchange the two. So oxygen, CO2, you breathe out. Then the oxygen is in your blood vessels. And for the oxygen now to get into the cell to be used for proper metabolic function and energy production, there has to be CO2 within the cells for that exchange to happen again. And that's how you relax, improve thyroid function, things like that. And that's the foundation is proper thyroid function. Doing all these breathing exercises, especially hyperventilating and things like that, you're depleting your body from CO2, which messes with your ability to relax. It's the same reason why if you have a good meal, you feel nice. Just pay attention next time when you eat a proper meal, your breathing becomes deeper. You can, like, the air that you're consuming actually gets into your body and then you feel warmer, more relaxed. Also, when it comes to meditation, if you want to get into like spiritual reasons and looking at it from a Christian perspective, meditation can be things to empty your mind, to let something else to come in. Biblically speaking, you want to focus on reading the Bible, understanding scripture, repeating verses in your mind, and prayer. Those things are much better. So the foundation is proper metabolic function and prayer, scripture, and these things will be extremely relaxing for sure.
Indirectly benefit testosterone production, and it's fasting. I recommend fasting for the first 5 hours of the day. Now, one cool benefit with fasting is it helps increase luteinizing hormone, which is a precursor to testosterone. As well, raw honey is good for LH production, which,
like, when it comes to fasting increases reverse T3 production. So when your thyroid gland produces T4 and it goes to the liver, and based off of the status of glycogen stores, it decides whether to convert the T4, which is inactive thyroid, to either T3 active, which then produces testosterone, or reverse T3 or T3, which lowers the metabolism. And that could be induced by fasting, because you're literally telling your body there's no fuel, let's lower the metabolism. The thing he said about LH, like on paper, yes, LH equals more testosterone, but you ask yourself, why is your body ramping up LH production? Is it because what you're doing is lowering testosterone? It's same thing with the cold shower studies, how cold showers increase LH, but there's no research on what it actually does to the testosterone. And I think it's the same thing. It increases LH because whatever you're doing is lowering testosterone. It's the same case where if you lower your thyroid hormones, your body's going to ram up TSH because there has to be a homeostasis, right? So, and ultimately the goal is low LH, high testosterone, because LH in excess can be inflammatory, just like TSH in excess can be inflammatory. It's optimizing the sensitivity of LH. So the optimal state is low LH and high testosterone in blood work. So yeah, let's continue.
Which again is a precursor to testosterone levels. It's also good for fertility. So fasting has been shown to increase LH production in men, which is a precursor to testosterone.
Like LH, he said fertility. What's responsible for fertility is mostly FSH. FSH is what stimulates the steroid cells within the testicles to produce sperm, and that's what causes fertility. LH is just responsible for stimulating the Leydig cells within the testes to produce testosterone. So I think he got it mixed up then.
As well as you fast and you focus on getting lean, well, any excess body fat is going to disrupt testosterone production. So men that have higher body fat levels on average have much lower testosterone levels.
Yeah, if you're above 15% body fat, you have more aromatase, because aromatase enzyme is stored in the fat stores, and aromatase is responsible for converting testosterone into estrogen. The key thing is how you get lean. Most guys get lean by completely messing with their hormones, crash diets, so on and so forth.
Levels. When you get your waistline lean, you get down to 10-12% body fat, your body's in a much better state to produce testosterone. So fasting can be a good tool to help you stay lean, increase LH. And the other benefit, which is not testosterone, but it's a very powerful benefit, is that fasting can really increase growth hormone. And growth hormone helps increase fat mobilization, it's protein sparing. So with fasting, you get this massive boost in growth hormone and you increase luteinizing hormone, and you can help support a leaner, stronger body. So I find doing the 5-hour fast is perfect. If you fast too long, yes, you can maybe diminish testosterone levels. If you fast too long, liver glycogen levels get depleted, you enter a catabolic state. That's not beneficial, but it's that short, quick 5-hour fast. You wake up at 9, you go to 2 p.m. You wake up at 7, you go to 12. 5-hour fast, and then you start eating calories, okay? So that's the third tip. Now this is the fourth tip.
Like what he said there is correct. Like with the fasting, the problem becomes when your liver glycogen stores become depleted, and because he also recommends consuming black coffee when you're fasting, and he talks about it suppresses the appetite. Yeah, it suppresses the appetite because you're increasing adrenaline and cortisol, and that's what quenches the appetite, because you're very stimulated. Most guys can't even sleep properly because their liver glycogen stores are compromised. So you're going 8-9 hours of fasting, then you wake up, and most guys are already depleted. And it's the same reason why most guys don't have an appetite in the morning, because they're waking up in a stressed state. And then go another 5, 6, 7 hours by drinking black coffee, which increases the metabolism, which increases, like you said, growth hormone. But when you look at it from a Ray Peat lens, or look at the studies, like growth hormone increases aging, it increases fat utilization, and fat usage as energy is a stress response. You're increasing free fatty acids within the bloodstream, and the free fatty acids increase serotonin within the brain, and serotonin is a metabolic governor, which basically means how much reality you can experience, how expensive your life can be in a sense of vibrant colors, energy, drive, motivation, long-term thinking, all of those things. So I'm not a fan.
This is super important, and it is to eat quality, balanced food. So there's two real components here. One, if you want to maximize testosterone, it's very clear that going very low in carbs or very low in fat both diminish testosterone levels. You want to eat balanced, okay? A good meal that supports testosterone production is steak, potatoes, a little bit of butter. So that balanced food where you're getting a good amount of...
Yeah, I agree 100%. That's one thing I like about Greg. He does recommend a more balanced carbs, protein, fats, all of those things like that. Also, I think unintentionally, I'm not sure if he knows about this, maybe he does know. Having the starches, the potatoes with the butter is very good because starches take longer to digest. And if you have, let's say, bacterial overgrowth or had a lot of gram-negative bacteria, because the potatoes take longer to digest, it gives them the chance to like eat the potatoes when you're in the gut, which increases endotoxin and things like that. But having a saturated fat actually protects the starch from being consumed, allowing it to digest and being used by the body. So yeah.
On a protein, a balance of fats, and some carbohydrates is always going to be the best thing for testosterone. If you're going very low fat and just eating chicken breast and carbs, rice, brown rice, not good for testosterone. If all you're having is steak and eggs and no carbs, also not good for testosterone. You need to have the balance. So I recommend basing your diet off of lean meats, strip loin, flank steak, extra lean ground beef, chicken, turkey, eggs. You know, my favorite protein sources that are rich in nutrients are eggs and beef. By far, there's so much nutrition in eggs and beef. As well, carbohydrates, potatoes and sweet potatoes are very, very nutritious. You know, you can have rice as well, or bread, but you want to get some moderate amount of carbohydrates. And of course, fresh fruits, apples, raspberries, berries, bananas. Fruits are very, very good. And then some vegetables like broccoli and cauliflower.
So let's break down what protein sources he recommends. I'm going to be very specific just for a greater understanding. Like, protein is extremely important, but the amino acid profile of the proteins that you're consuming is important. When you're consuming a lot of inflammatory amino acids like tryptophan, cysteine, homocysteine, things like that, those increase serotonin. Tryptophan is a precursor to serotonin, and like I mentioned before, serotonin is not good. I've made videos in the past about it. And things like chicken, turkey, egg whites are very high in those things. So I would be cautious of excessively consuming those. Red meat is great, but also dairy. Dairy is extremely good because it's very easily digestible. It's very high in calcium, good electrolyte, things like that. Then you mentioned carbohydrates, so potatoes, sweet potatoes. Sweet potatoes are all right, but the excessive consumption, and especially when you're hypothyroid, sweet potatoes are high in beta carotene. And if you have beta carotene is inactive vitamin A, and it can accumulate within your body, and that's why your skin might turn orange, and that can cause problems. So I'll be cautious of that. And then he mentioned things like bread. Bread can be problematic for thyroid because of the gluten and things like that, because it's inflammatory. And then he mentioned broccoli. Green leafy vegetables overall are high in anti-nutrients and are high in cellulose, which our bodies can digest, and it feeds the gram-negative bacteria, increases endotoxin, which lowers testosterone levels. So overall, his recommendation of having a balance of carbs, protein, fats is very good. The selection is not bad. I would just optimize that. Also, I'm gonna leave a link down below in the comments. I'm gonna just leave a list of foods you should be avoiding when it comes to optimal testosterone levels, and literally follow that list and you'll see really good results. So yeah, let's continue.
Okay, this is what your diet should be based off of. And again, you can fit in the foods you love. So I fit in 20% of my calories every day, as chocolate or some cookies. This is kind of what I build my diet off of, and the nutrition you get from steak and potatoes and broccoli and apples and raspberries is so powerful. So you want to eat nutritious, balanced food. Don't cut out carbs, don't cut out fat. Now let's go into step number 5, okay? Water. Everyone thinks about what they put in their body as far as food. They don't think about quality of water. Now, tap water is shit. Unless you're living in freaking Iceland, where the tap water is actually very, very good. You're living in America, Canada, London, the tap water is trash. It's filled with fluoride. It's filled with endocrine disruptors, microplastics, birth control. The tap water is crap, okay? And actually, high amounts of fluoride is linked to a lower IQ. So you want to get quality water. Whatever you want to do to get quality water, go and do that. You know, sometimes I'll have a Flow. Evian has great water. It's BPA-free bottles. You can get a water filtration thing. You can get water delivered in glass bottles. You can do San Pellegrino sparkling water, but give yourself quality water. Stop drinking the tap water, okay? You can smell the chlorine. It's trash. Stop drinking. As soon as you have enough money, first thing you should do is drink quality water, quality food. Every successful person I meet, they do not drink tap water. They will not touch tap water. You can smell the chlorine on it. It is complete trash. And if you do have tap water, if you let it sit for 20, 30 minutes, some of that chlorine can somehow dissolve a little bit, but don't be better than tap water, okay? Now, second point on water, your skin absorbs pretty much everything you put on it, right? So if you're taking a shower, if you can invest and spend a little bit of money on a shower filter, that will filter out a lot of the chemicals in water. So I recommend using a shower filter if you can, okay? Really important. So quality food, quality water, very important. Now, number 6, most people...
Yes, so I definitely agree. You want to make sure that the water that you're using is good quality. I personally use a water distiller to make sure the water is good. One point I disagree with the concept of drinking a lot of water. When it comes to hydration is accomplished by the consumption of glucose, which are carbohydrates, electrolytes, magnesium, potassium, calcium, and sodium, and H2O, water. A lot of guys make the mistake of consuming a lot of water, which then depletes the body from the electrolytes. So be cautious of diluting the soup, you could say, by consuming a lot of water, especially if you're hypothyroid and your electrolyte balance is out of whack. Drinking water just makes you cold, things like that. So instead of drinking a coffee, drinking an espresso because there's less liquid. So paying attention to those things, drinking milk, orange juice, things like that, rather than the excess consumption of water. Another thing he mentioned was showers. Yes, anything you put on the skin gets absorbed by the body. Studies have shown that if you put water, tap water in a cup, and you measure how much fluoride there is, then you put your hand in it, take it out, literally instantly. You check the fluoride content again, it's completely different. So yeah, showering with fluoride, things like that is gonna mess up with your thyroid function. It displaces iodine within the thyroid gland, which then messes with proper thyroid function and thus testosterone levels. Also, same thing when you're showering, things like that, the shampoos that you're using and things like that will affect your testosterone levels. I personally use things like tallow soap and tallow products to prevent that. I'm going to leave a link down below for the one that I use. I'm going to send you the Instagram account. You can check them out, and their quality of soaps is extremely good. I've seen the process behind the scenes, so it's good quality. And yeah, let's continue.
People are putting chemicals onto their skin, into their body multiple times a day. They're putting on fragrance, body wash and shampoos, deodorants with tons of fragrance you can smell from 10 feet away. They're washing their clothes in laundry detergent and dryer sheets that are loaded with scents, lavender scents or whatever it is. They're rubbing facial creams on them with 30, 50 different ingredients. They go in the sun, they put on toxic sunscreens, okay? Many sunscreens have been recalled because there's so many chemicals that stay in your bloodstream for weeks and weeks that have negative health implications. So my rule is very simple. Cut out fragrances. If you're gonna use a body wash or soap, use a natural soap. There shouldn't be any artificial fragrance, okay? Use a natural shampoo or conditioner if you're gonna use shampoo conditioner. Get a natural deodorant. I have no affiliation, but there's a deodorant called Magsol, M-A-G-S-O-L, Hunter. It's natural, but it fucking smells amazing and it works. And the scents are very toxic. They're not good for you, okay? If I'm dating a girl, I'll tell her, don't be using all that perfume. Knock it off. Use the natural stuff. The natural scent is the most intoxicating. In fact, scent is a very strong attraction trigger. People don't even realize. They think about looks, they think about personality and the chemistry, but it's like that scent that is a biological cue that someone's a good genetic match. That's why you could have one girl that's very beautiful and maybe attraction's not that strong. You don't really feel that je ne sais quoi. And another girl may be beautiful too, but there's this stronger pull, the better pheromone match. All right, so it's very, very...
Yeah, like pheromones are extremely important, and your hormonal profile is going to affect that. And yeah, like I mentioned, the shampoos, things like that, the scents, the perfumes. If you're putting perfumes in these places, especially where your gland is and all of those things, it's going to mess with your testosterone production. So with this point, I 100% agree. Like, avoid all of these shampoos, the chemicals that you use to wash your clothes. It goes deep. All of these endocrine disruptors, they're extremely bad for your testosterone levels. And sure, if you do it once, not a big deal, but it's the dose that kills. It's what you're doing consistently on a daily basis for a long period of time is what's going to cause these problems. So yeah, I would definitely look into optimizing those things. If you're using a lot of perfume, all these scents under your armpits, you're using mint, fluoride toothpaste, all of those things will mess you up. You're basically castrating yourself chemically. So yeah, let's continue.
Clear, the best exercise you can do to produce more testosterone is heavy lifting. When you lift heavy, you trigger your body to increase strength and muscle growth, and one of the key hormones that power that is testosterone. So when you lift heavy weights, you actually increase testosterone production. But you want to lift heavy 2 or 3 days a week. Focus on key compound lifts, 5 to 10 reps, long rest periods, push hard. A simple routine you can do is Monday, a couple sets of incline presses, dumbbell, a couple sets weighted dips, incline curls, and do some face pulls or bent over flies. Wednesday, Bulgarian split squats, some Romanian deadlifts, some leg extensions, throw in some shrugs. And then Friday, do some shoulder press, some hammer chins. You can do some one-arm dumbbell tricep extensions, some lateral raises, but lift heavy. The important sign is you're getting stronger. If you try and train too much, do too many sets, too much volume, you're in the gym too much and you're not getting stronger, that's a bad sign. Training hard 3 days a week, push yourself hard, and you're recovered, coming back stronger, that's a good sign your body is producing and unlocking more testosterone. Overtraining and training too much and hitting a wall is just as bad for testosterone as not training at all. You want to do the sweet spot. 3 hard-hitting heavy lifts a week, and you almost want to leave the gym feeling you could do a little bit more. You don't want to leave the gym freaking exhausted, okay? You want to leave the gym feeling like, I got a little bit left. That's what's going to allow you to come back stronger and more recovered. So very important.
Yeah, like one thing about Greg, which I love and it's amazing, is his training strategies. That's one of the reasons I used to follow him back in 2016, 17 when I started. His training, and especially back then when everybody was doing the bodybuilding split 6 times a week, 7 times a week, and if you told someone that you train 3 times a week, they would think you're crazy. One thing about Greg, his training approach and the minimalism and the approach when it comes to progressive overload, reverse pyramid training, strength standards, all of those things, improving the androgen density areas, is extremely well, and I agree 100%. When it comes to testosterone, studies have shown that full body training 3 times a week for 4 weeks boosts testosterone levels by 40%. Also the thing about the overtraining, I rather undertrain than by 10% than overtrain by 1%, because that 1% accumulates and you're doing that consistently, and that's what causes the fatigue, the low testosterone, the overtraining, and that you're overreaching, and that is extremely detrimental to testosterone levels. And yeah, I agree with that.
For testosterone production is the sunlight. So you want to get vitamin D. Now, if it's summertime, you can get out and get sun exposure on your skin, torso during peak hours for 20, 30 minutes. That's great to build up your vitamin D levels. Now, if you do not have access to the sun, maybe you're working in an office, maybe it's the winter time, then you can take vitamin D. Now, if you're gonna take vitamin D, you wanna get, vitamin D with K2. That's really, really helpful. Helps pull calcium into your bones and teeth. But vitamin D is also good for testosterone, strength and power, recovery, lowering inflammation. So vitamin D is really essential for health. And you can get your vitamin D levels tested. People go down crazy rabbit holes into all these different health optimizations and doing crazy stuff. This guy's spending $2 million a year on health. And a lot of that is all bullshit and unnecessary. But one of the simplest things you can do to optimize health is just sleep and getting good vitamin D. And in the northern climate, I'm up here in Canada. I spent time in Miami, but in Canada right now, there's a lot of illness that's linked to simply low vitamin D status, okay? So get your vitamin D levels to a good place, either through supplementation with vitamin D plus K2 or through proper sun exposure. A good app you can use is D-Minder, D-M-I-N-D-E-R. It tracks when you're gonna get the best amount of vitamin D because the sun can be out without any vitamin D. Once the sun hits a certain angle, you can actually burn but get no vitamin D. So you want to get vitamin D during the right time, okay? Usually it's midday, 12 to 2 p.m. Point number 9, minerals.
Yes, so vitamin D is extremely important for testosterone production. Vitamin D is actually a steroid, mycosteroids, I believe. So steroid meaning it's produced from cholesterol. I agree with him, vitamin D is important, but when it comes to sunlight, and I've had this happen with clients, is they get plenty of sunlight, they live in hot countries and they get their vitamin D tested and it's low. It's not because they're not getting enough sunlight, it's because their cholesterol levels are low due to high endotoxin, the foods that they're consuming, I don't know, there's many reasons for that, malnutrition, and the foundation is proper thyroid function and things like that, and gut health. And also, in that case, you would want to supplement with vitamin D. And when you fix that micronutrient deficiency of the vitamin D, you'll feel so much better. Your health will get better. The supplements that you're taking are going to work better, so on and so forth. Your sleep is going to get better. And yeah, vitamin D is extremely important. Also, the thing with the times, the D-Minder app is very good. And he mentioned if you're staying indoors, you're working inside, going out and getting vitamin D. Also, if you are staying inside, using incandescent light in your office, which mimics that good protective wavelength that it really relaxes the body, is very pro-metabolic, rather than LED, which is very stimulating and stressful. So yeah, good point there.
So there's 3 key minerals that are very important in testosterone production: zinc, magnesium, and boron. Zinc's been shown to increase free testosterone levels. It's great for immune function. Zinc is really, really important. Even though I eat a lot of meat, when I did my blood levels, I got my nutrients checked, I was deficient in zinc. When I supplement with zinc, I see really good results, more testosterone and better immune function. The second one, this is a lot of people are deficient in magnesium. In fact, soil and crops have far less nutritional content, micronutrients, than they used to even 50 years ago. Magnesium is really important. A lot of times anxiety and depression can be linked to having low magnesium levels. Bad sleep is linked to low magnesium levels. So magnesium is very effective. It's been shown to help increase total testosterone. So zinc really helps more with free testosterone. Magnesium has been helps to increase total testosterone in athletes and sedentary individuals. Now, if you work out a lot, you sweat a lot, you're gonna deplete minerals like zinc and magnesium. So taking zinc and magnesium, really good for testosterone production. And the third one is boron. Now, if you take in more boron than your body needs, you actually increase free testosterone. Boron increases free testosterone and it's very anti-estrogenic. So if you power your body, if you want to increase testosterone significantly, you want to take zinc, magnesium, boron, and you're going to find higher sex drive, better quality of sleep, and higher levels of testosterone, both free and total, and lower estrogen. So that's the 9th point. Now, the last point is...
So he mentions zinc. He said he eats a lot of zinc, but then when he done a test, it was low. That could be a lot of due to low thyroid. If he's fasting a lot and has low thyroid function, thyroid is responsible for retaining zinc. And zinc is definitely important, but it's only important if you're deficient. If you're not deficient and you start supplementing with zinc, it can actually lower your testosterone levels than the magnesium. So zinc is a micro mineral, magnesium is a macro mineral, so you need more of it. Magnesium needs to be within the cell, and a lot of people don't see the benefits of magnesium supplementation because same thing with the thyroid is needed to retain to the magnesium. If you have someone who's low thyroid and they supplement with magnesium, you see 100% of the magnesium they consume the next day in their pee, because they need thyroid hormone to retain to the minerals that they're consuming. And yes, a lot of minerals are gone from the soil, and this is another reason why you shouldn't be drinking a lot of water, because most people are not getting any minerals from their nutrition and diet, and you add more water and you're diluting yourself even more. And then boron should be only taken when you're deficient. Boron in excess can be quite estrogenic, funny enough. So, and the increase in testosterone, I think it's due to because of the estrogen, because estrogen can be produced from testosterone. So yeah, I would be cautious of boron.
There are certain herbs you can use that are really effective at increasing testosterone. Those two that I find are my favorite, and that's Tongata Lee, has been shown to increase testosterone significantly. It also helps support strength and muscle growth. Huberman has talked about Tongata Lee increasing total testosterone. Just Tongata Lee, 100 to 200 points. That's a lot. So the average guy today is around 400 or 500 total. So that's like going from 500 to 600 just from one thing. We talked about 10 steps just from one single herb. So Tongata Lee is really effective at increasing testosterone production. There's other herbs like Fadoja that can increase testosterone, but it's linked to possible toxicity in the testes. So I don't touch Fadoja. If you do it, you have to cycle it. As well as ashwagandha, but it causes reduced depths of feelings and numbness, and ashwagandha and Fadoja should really only be taken once in a while. I don't mess with either of those. The one that is so underrated that no one really takes is Forskolite, okay? Now, Forskolite comes from the mint family. Forskolite has been shown to increase free testosterone, but also supports your body's ability to burn fat, increases CAMP, and it can actually enhance fat loss. There's some cool research on Forskolite increasing free testosterone and actually increasing body composition. So I packaged those three minerals and those two herbs into Kino Mojo. We're seeing incredible results on Mojo, okay? Guys are increasing the testosterone too.
When it comes to those herbs, I personally don't use any herbs. I have in the past. Things like ashwagandha, all of those things are very serotonergic, estrogenic. Also, when it comes to these herbs, a lot of these herbs accomplish higher testosterone levels by increasing estrogen process, by the estrogen pathway. And when you hear guys using those things, they're excessively stimulated, they're extremely horny, and a lot of guys think that, oh, it means high testosterone levels, but testosterone is responsible for that calmness, being grounded, and being able to control your sexual urges. When you take these herbs and you're constantly thinking about women and all of those things, you're constantly horny, that's not high testosterone, that's not protective state, that's very stressful. It's like very estrogenic. Estrogen can have those effects. So I'm not a big fan. Forksfulin from the mint family, when it comes to mint is very problematic. It lowers testosterone levels. A lot of supplements nowadays are not good quality. So most people benefit by not taking any supplements to keep the gut clean and things like that. So personally, I'm not a big fan of using herbs, and because it causes numbness, serotonergic, it's excessive things you need to take on a daily basis. So personally, I'm not a fan. That being said, this was a video on 10 steps to increase testosterone. KinoBody has very solid points. Some of the things I don't agree with, but yeah, hopefully you enjoyed, and yeah, see you later.